The NBA story, you guys might have heard a week or so ago, Kash Patel, as you know, we've been very critical of this guy, and we're going to still be critical of him. So when he announced that arrests have been made of athletes and former athletes of the NBA, and we know up to 30 people behind the scenes and on the court combined were arrested by the FBI for illegal happenings going on in the NBA when it comes to gambling, illegal gambling, and rigging of the games. So let's take a look at how this went down and what about it is real, what about it isn't so real, and what we should be concerned about moving forward. So let's start with Kash's announcement. Here we go. This is from about a week and a half ago.
I'll just highlight some of the details in the case and the FBI work, and then you'll hear from the others. But as you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today, former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchesi crime families. And you'll hear more about those details today. The charges and the arrests that were taken down across this country range from wire fraud, money laundering, extortion, robbery, illegal gambling. This FBI will leave no room for any perpetrator of crime across this country. You hear a lot about our work of defending the homeland and crushing violent crime. Well, this work is also representative of a colossal portion of the FBI's mandate to keep America safe and to keep our entertainment industry fair and secure. The men and women that are standing up here today worked tireless hours, days, months, and years. And the fraud is mind-boggling. It's not hundreds of dollars. It's not thousands of dollars. It's not tens of thousands of dollars. It's not even millions of dollars. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in fraud and theft and robbery.
Wow. So normally I would say this, right? I would say in a normal setting, we wouldn't trust anything that Kash Patel says out of his mouth. As you guys saw in our last segment earlier in the show, we don't trust really anything he does based on his behavior and his pattern of kind of over theatricalizing stuff and not giving all the information, and the timing's always an issue. So we look at these things, right? But two things can be true at the same time. So I think the direction we're heading here on the Homeless Left is we're going to be skeptical of the FBI as they conduct their investigation. At the same time, we have to look at the sport itself and see how far back this goes, well before Kash Patel took the role of director of the FBI. And we got to look at some stuff that maybe kind of slipped by us at the time because we didn't have the same mindset or that we didn't understand the full-blown corruption that we deal with in this planet. Therefore, we're going to miss it when it's in our favorite sport. You know, if your favorite sport's basketball, it's mine. We tend to miss these things as they unfold. So let's look at some historical context here. Well, we'll start with this. He did mention there were crime families involved. So that is something to look at, right? We'll get into that in a minute, but I did like this meme was pretty interesting. I like this one. This is funny. The NBA, you got Tony Soprano, and these are you got Kash there with his little deer in headlights look. And there's these players. This is Damon Jones. You got Chauncey, who's now coach. He was a finals MVP. Did you know that the guy right on the left of Tony Soprano was a finals MVP back when he and the Detroit Pistons beat Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant in 2004. He beat them, and that Lakers were dismantled because of Chauncey Billups. So he has a history he has a legacy. Now he's a coach. And you got these other players here that were mentioned. And then, of course, Adam Silver on the far right, who is the current commissioner. And this is it's a funny meme because it shows us that there's stuff that we're not being told that happens behind closed doors. So what are we talking about? Are we just talking about gambling that was done in a not so up and up way? If it was just that, well, okay, maybe this wouldn't be such a big deal. Maybe it would just be a distraction. We know Craig Pasta talks about it as a distraction. I wanted to debate him on this. He said it's a nothing burger. Well, we'll give you that part, that the gambling part of this in these high-end secret rooms that are breaking particular state laws when they happen. Michael Jordan participated in those things too, as well. Those aren't really anything to get us all so upset about. But that's part of what we're seeing here. It's not the whole story. So the Chauncey Billups part is indictments for illegal gambling. That's a part Craig Pasta and others would tell you is not worth us even covering, because so what? And just for fun, here's Chauncey the day before he got arrested. He makes a slip, a Freudian slip, I guess one would say, when he talks about the chips falling a certain way, which is really funny. The double entendre there, which I don't think he meant to do. Here he is.
I don't. That pressure thing is nothing to me, man. I do the best I can and let the chips fall where they may. You know that about me by now, quick.
Let the chips fall where they may. You know that about me. And the very next morning, he gets arrested for the charge of illegal gambling. And again, I will say this, and this is Craig, if you're listening, I will say if that was it, that would be it. It would kind of be a nothing burger. How many, what's the fine? 1 week in prison, community service, whatever, couple $1 million fine, NBA fine, whatever, back to coaching. Maybe that would be it. Okay. But there is actually more to the story. We're talking about fixing games. We're talking about fixing stats. We're talking about players on the court, refs, coordinating fake outcomes in order to benefit the pockets of these crime families and anybody else linked to them. And this thing goes well beyond the NBA. This is something we have to look at in all of our favorite sports, from college football and basketball to the NFL. All of these leagues are things we need to look into. And I frankly do not trust Kash Patel to do the investigation. He's not to be trusted. I will not change my mind on that until he does something absolutely, like, I would say he would have to do something that's totally selfless and kind, which I don't see coming from a guy like that with a psychopath Zionist girlfriend and all his berating and belittling of people he's been doing online. And we could get into that in other shows. This segment's not about Kash Patel so much. Let's look at another FBI representative telling us how bad this actually is. And she's not actually going to be delivering this to us, sniffing every 2 moments as if she has some sort of cocaine fix. She's actually going to talk normally to us, so you don't have to worry about the part of Kash Patel. Listen to what she tells us, because this goes much deeper than illegal gambling.
The first case, Operation Nothing But Bet, exposed a gambling ring built around professional basketball, where players and associates allegedly used inside information to manipulate prop bets on major sports betting platforms. They placed wagers on unders on players to score less, rebound less, assist less, using information that was not yet public.
Okay, and if that was the extent of it, that would be it. That would be having information and using that secret information. And we see that happen on the stock market every day. This is the corruption of these industries, that the people at the top know stuff the rest of us don't. They get, you got Nancy Pelosi insider trading. Okay, that's what she's talking about. This is the nothing burger that Craig Pasta tells us. Listen to what she says next, because this is a lot different. This is the game itself being compromised, not just people making money off of it that they shouldn't be making. This is the game itself not being real.
In some instances, players altered their performance or took themselves out of games to make sure that those bets paid out. One example occurred on March 23rd, 2023 in Charlotte. Terry Rozier, an NBA player now with the Miami Heat, but at the time playing for the Hornets, allegedly let others close to him know that he planned to leave the game early with a supposed injury. Using that information, members of the group placed more than $200,000 in wagers on his under statistics. Rozier exited the game after just 9 minutes, and those bets paid out, generating tens of thousands of dollars in profit. The proceeds were later delivered to his home, where the group counted their cash. As the NBA season tips off, his career is already benched, not for injury, but for integrity. As a result of this investigation, 6 defendants, including Rozier, are now facing conspiracy to commit bank and wire fraud.
Well, there it is. And she gave specific examples. This, as we're saying, this goes well beyond, and I don't think Chauncey Billups is connected to that part. He might be a completely separate entity, but we're dealing with these other incidences, these other illegal dealings that has to do with rigging the game. Let's get some more on that from the New York Post. This is on Damon Jones, who was arrested along with the others. Details of LeBron James' injury status were sold by his pal and former LA Lakers coach Damon Jones. It's part of a massive prop betting scheme, according to court docs and law enforcement sources. Jones, an ex-Cleveland Cavs player and unofficial assistant coach for the Lakers during the 2022-2023 season, sent a message to one of the betting ring members on February 9th, 23, urging him to place a large bet on the Lakers' opponent, Milwaukee Bucks, because James would be out with an injury that night. That's just yet another example. The list goes on and on. But how far back does this go? How far back are we talking about? Well, let's look at the NBA refs. If you guys, you might not know this, but a few years back, this was way back in 2007. The guy on the left is Tim Donaghy. He's a disgraced NBA ref. He was convicted in 2007 of fixing games. On the right, Scott Foster, an NBA ref who received 134 phone calls from Donaghy during the period he was fixing the games. Donaghy went to jail. Foster, the guy on the right, is still an NBA ref. The game is rigged. So why would they ignore the 134 phone calls? What are they talking about? This is the bad apple theory that they shove down our throats and we eat it up like it's nothing, like it's just the way the world is. And it's not, guys. The world is not like that. The world is not a bad apple appears and we make an example of the bad apple and everything goes back to normal. That's not how the world works. And this is not a case of, at the time, we thought that was true. We thought this was a bad apple ref, a fluke, a greedy dude that got punished and the game went back to normal. That's not how it works. Somebody takes a fall so the thing that they're falling from can maintain an image of purity. Take your pick, the entertainment industry, right? The way Hollywood works. You lock up Harvey Weinstein and Hollywood stays pure. Meryl Streep didn't have any idea. She didn't know. She didn't know what Harvey was up to. But now we can go back to normal because Harvey Weinstein's in jail. We loved P. Diddy's white parties. They were fun. We didn't know what he was doing. We didn't know he was raping a security guard in back room. We didn't know those kids were pulling up in those buses. We didn't know that he was spiking those the baby oil with this drug that put girls to sleep. We didn't know he wasn't carting these girls at the door. We just were having fun. Like LeBron James says, there ain't no party like a P. Diddy party. So this is how we're wired. But it's not real. They all know it. They're all in on it. Somebody has to take a fall. That's the way it works. And you go back and you can see example after example. They're telling us how it works. Do you remember Rasheed Wallace? At one time, he was a rebounding champion. He was on the team. Rasheed Wallace was on the team 2004 with Chauncey Billups that beat Shaq and Kobe. And Chauncey got the MVP. Rasheed would have got it, but he had too many problems. He was like the technical foul winner that year too. He has the most technical fouls than anybody else. So he did not get the MVP of the finals. But he told us how the game worked well before Kash Patel and the other Trump Zionist clan got into power to make up these fake investigations and belittle people asking questions about other things and misdirecting us. He was telling us about this well before that team got into place. Here's a clip of Rasheed Wallace telling us how bad it is. This clip is several years old. Check it out.
With the referees, that's why I was just saying.
2023, not several years, but long enough ago before Kash Patel could even salivate over being the FBI director. Tell us, Rasheed, how does it work behind the scenes? What do you know?
As I got older, I didn't have to do all the cussing or come with attitudes. No, I'm just hitting them with logic now. Like, oh, so y'all got that email last night, huh? Oh, then they flare all up. What are you talking about? Oh, yeah, I know about y'all email shits. No, let's not forget that. I know about that. Man, look, it's been an ongoing
you're
war.
Referring to emails from the league with, this is what we discussed in Whistleblower, but emails from the league that are telling the referees to officiate the game in a certain way and against certain players.
Yeah.
And so you were cognizant of that at the time.
Oh, yeah, I was very, because to me, I saw it. And he'll tell you what I always used to say. Y'all making it too obvious.
I thought he was crazy.
Y'all making it too obvious, too blatant. Y'all making it too obvious. Yeah. I said, y'all want the fans to be able to watch the games, but y'all sitting up here calling a lot of these bullshit calls is doing what? Slowing down the game. Y'all want the fans to see the dunks and all that shit. Yeah. So call that shit both ways or don't call that shit at all.
And there's so much more to it than this. There's so much more. I'm just urging you guys, if you're on the side with me, you understand that the FBI is corrupt and we're not getting an honest take on Epstein. We're not getting an honest take on Charlie Kirk. We know that they set up these false flags like in Michigan. We covered that earlier today. We know how bad it is at the FBI. At the same time, these games are rigged and they're fixed, and it's unfair to the sports fan that they carry on this way with all this protection, and every once in a while somebody takes a hit. So we need to be a lot more suspicious of this. At the same time, know that FBI is not going to be honest with us, but there's certainly people being protected here. Certainly. And we're talking about these crime families. I mean, this is not a joke. I know this is a funny meme, but there's more to this. And we don't get to be a fly on the wall in these rooms. That we're on HBO, you could be a fly on the wall and watch how the Sopranos unit functions and what they do off camera and off screen. And this is, so we're going to have a hard time getting all the information, but we have to stay with an open mind on it. And it can be true. Everybody in this picture can be corrupt, except for obviously Tony Soprano's not around anymore. The actor's not around anymore, but all these people can be corrupt at the same time. It's possible that there are no good guys. That's what I'm saying. It's possible there are no good guys. Now we'll end the segment with this. As you guys know, you've watched games before. They mentioned there was a game with Milwaukee Bucks and Los Angeles Lakers that looked like it was completely rigged, and it probably was. I mean, that's my guess. I remember that game. I'm not going to show you a clip from that game, but I'll show you what just happened in the last week. People thought this was pretty funny. Giannis, who's the best player on the Milwaukee Bucks, had this play happen. And so this is just something to consider. I guess what I'm saying is from here on out, I'm going to be more skeptical than ever when I watch plays like this happen and refs do nothing about it. I mean, this is how insane this travel was that was not called. Check this out. And for those of you who don't know basketball, this is not legal, and there's no way anyone could justify that this is a legal scoring of the basketball. This is what we call a travel, like textbook travel, but he gets away with it.
With the ball.
Watch that. That's just one dribble right there.
Here, how many steps? It's the gather.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Come on.
Okay.
Yeah, we could have played till we're 50.
Yeah. Let's see that on me one more time. Just from the you see what last time the ball goes down. So the ball goes down. We're gonna start from here. So watch how many steps after the last dribble. Here we go. Look at this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, can't do that. You get 2.5 at most. So he doubled it. Okay, so now I'm just saying, like, from now on, and that could have just been a slip by the refs, but from now on, I'm gonna look at the game differently from here on out. Just as we look at politics differently from here on out, we have to always look skeptically now. Anybody in power, and that unfortunately includes people that wear whistles, not just badges and guns and political offices and fingers on nuclear buttons and news anchors at massively powerful media companies that get paid by pharmaceutical and military companies, not just all of them, and guys with guns and badges and immunity that aren't allowed to be sued, not allowed to be sued in court, kill indiscriminately how you want, call it self-defense. It's more than that. Apparently, we also have to be skeptical at guys wearing whistles.